Number 18, non-expert opinion. We back.
Bam,
Number 8,
bam.
friendly
Spider-Man,
neighborhood Spider-Man.
Spider-Man
Spider-Man. Yo,
does whatever a spider can. That intro is crazy, right?
yo, the intro is fire. I was about to say, yeah, yo, I'm like, yo, the intro is fire.
This is like the one of the few shows like Bleach where I let the intros run, bro. Like I normally skip the
Right.
intros,
Nah,
bro.
right.
I listen to it like once or twice when the show first releases, and then after that, I'm like, whatever. Nah, this one I listen to that shit every episode, bro. All 8 episodes so far.
It's cool because it's reminiscent of the original,
Not
classic
our,
Spider-Man.
not our
But then
Spider-Man, but the one before that.
yeah, like it's like a classic Spider-Man, but then they jazzed it up with the the rap and everything. So it was dope. I like how they tie in the two. They do that from the intro music to the cartoon. Like they do a good mixture. So let's jump right into it.
But yeah. So we're here talking about your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, the newest Spider-Man show from Disney, aka Marvel. Man, I think we should start off with just saying how we feel about because we're gonna talk about the first 8 episodes because that's all that's out right now, and then we're gonna do the finale episode next when that comes out next week. But let's just start off with how you feel about the show just in general without really going into details.
I like it. I'm enjoying it. You know what I'm saying? As I started to say, I like the comparison, the reminiscence of the old comic Spider-Man. Like you get a lot of that. Like you know what I mean. And then you also get like it just a little dab like a new flavor and everything because it's a new story, it's a new journey and stuff like that. This is one that you don't see the usual characters. And then when they do have the usual characters, you see them differently. Like you know what I mean. Like I'm enjoying it. From Norman Osborn. I think his involvement in it is how they tie that in is pretty cool. I'm interested in the Tombstone character. Um, I'm interested in the development between the two friends, like Nico and Harry. Like, there's so much going on in this cartoon, and every little patch of it keeps you drawn in. Like, it's not boring. And that's what I enjoy about it. Like, it's not boring, but it's not like it's not crazy either. Like,
Mm-hmm.
don't get me wrong. Like, you
Yes.
know what I mean. Like, it's not like you said, like it's mad action and this shit just blowing up over there, like boom, 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 boom. Like it's a really good story. Like they even tie in um some things you might know from the MCU, like the Sokovia Accords. Um, what you call it? It was a few characters that they bring in: Captain America, Iron Man, Doctor Strange. This weird ass Venom character who I'm not sure who that was. Like I don't know who that was.
I'm gonna
They
assume
even
that's just
somebody
a
from
symbiote creature from another planet, like from a
yeah,
planet,
yeah.
like
We
not
don't know, yeah.
necessarily a
So
person encompassed by a symbiote yet.
I don't think it was Venom. He looked like Venom, but maybe Venom from like another dimension or something. I don't know. He was I
Yes,
don't
yeah, because
know.
realistically, I agree with like everything you're saying. That's like exactly how I feel. I love the easygoingness of this show. I like the diversity in this show, and I'm not somebody who normally sits here and like I need that in the show, but like the way they're presenting it, they're not overdoing it. Where it feels like they're trying to present some big like woke statement with it. They're just including people and including different races and stuff like that without having to go extra. Um, I definitely enjoy all these parallels to our MCU Spider-Man stuff going on, but it's also got its own differences and twists about what's going on in the show. And the point that you hit on the head that I was gonna say that was like my most important point is they're not rushing his progression. They're not making him this whoa, he's this fantastic Spider-Man all of a sudden. Like we're watching the ride of him learning what he's really supposed to be doing as Spider-Man. And it's not like he has the same exact mentorship as he does. It's similar, but it's not the same at all with what's going on with him and his mentor in this show. I do like the dynamics with not all the characters because all the characters are pretty fine. There's nothing wrong with the characters, but like Lonnie, especially, I like him. I'm interested in Harry because I'm kind of confused about Harry, but we'll talk about that later when we're deeper into the talk. But everything that they're doing is just a smooth like it's a I don't look at it like I'm looking at the movies. Like I kind of need like wow or big dramatic stories from the movies. This is a nice, simple sit down, relax, and enjoy Spider Man. It feels like Spider Man. It doesn't feel like they're trying to do too much.
Yeah, no, yeah, and you get that from the Spider Man from Peter Parker
Yeah,
himself.
he's so simple.
Like Peter, like yeah, he's very very much Peter Parker, very much easygoing, very much like just figuring out step by step. They do a good job with the costumes, going through the costumes and like him trying to figure out what's best for him. They took a different approach at it, like you said. The mentoring is different, so the approach is different. So it's like the wisdom he's getting is similar, like with great responsibility come I mean with great power comes
I was
great
waiting for that because they teased it like 2 or 3 times in the show, and I think
yeah
we should wait till we get to that episode to actually give the line out. Honestly, like give the
yeah
line
so
because
it's
it is
like
a different twist
it's
on the
stuff
line
like
too.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's stuff like that that they drop. I do like the route that they're taking with some of the we're introducing the bad guys as well. So like
handling that very
it's
well.
slow building, and like we mentioned Lincoln and Tombstone is the same person. We slowly like he gets that nickname from the gang he joins, and
110.
because he's still the doctor is not even Doc Ock. He's Doctor Octavius, and the arms aren't attached to his
Well,
back yet.
we're basically there. He's Doctor Octopus already, man. Like,
I mean, but not yet
he ain't
because the
full out
arms aren't
tweaking
attached
yet.
to it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That's the thing. He didn't bug out yet. He I like how they took that thing from the old cartoon. I remember I think it's Spider Man from the '94 one. I could be wrong about the dates. I'm a non-expert, but I think I like how they took like the thing about Doc Ock creating some of the bad guys. So then we got him in the lab and he's cooking up the little bad guys, but then we get a main one, a big one, Scorpion. Like
Mm-hmm,
you know what I'm saying,
mm-hmm.
and that was cool. Like that little, I like how they made him into like the gangster, the big bad gangster who was just taking
Yeah,
on
I
the
was like,
block.
this is kind of cool that he's like just a gangster running around with the Scorpion Gang and shit like that, and
Yeah,
they're like
like
running the
yeah,
110th. And like the story that's gonna be Lonnie's story is basically gonna. I'm pretty sure they're gonna tie Spider-Man into it, but like it's gonna be a beef between two villains who probably causes Lonnie to turn into Tombstone the way he turns into. And then
I'm really
Spider-Man's gonna be
interested in
around,
that.
and he's probably just gonna blame Spider-Man being a hothead and shit like that because he's like, "You're a hero. You're supposed to save people, and you ain't saved me or my peoples." And I'm excited to see that. And I'm pretty sure we're getting that
Yeah,
next week too. Like the Lonnie change. I feel like
yeah.
we're getting the Lonnie change to end the season.
That would be dope. That would actually I would appreciate that honestly
Especially
because
because they're teasing the actual suit already now.
right. And yeah, now we go back to the costume changes. Let's go through the costume changes because some of them pretty
You want to go
they
through
were pretty
episodes and
wild.
lead up to that?
That was like episode 2. We're gonna get right there.
Yeah, yeah. So let's start going
Let's
through it.
go.
So we'll start off
Do-
with Amazing Fantasy, which is a good title because this is something that I actually know for a fact. Amazing Fantasy is the name of the original comic that Spider-Man appears in because Spider-Man wasn't originally his own comic. He wasn't approved. Like Stan Lee had pushed the idea to the guys at Marvel and they did not want to go through with Spider-Man. So he ended up using him in his Amazing Fantasy storyline, which is basically like a bunch of just random stories about random fantastical like worlds and heroes and stuff like that. And I guess the comic took off and then they reached back out to him and like, so that Spider-Man guy, do you still want to do that? Because I see he's taking off. And so it's a good callback to his origins in the comics to name this Amazing Fantasy. But this
yeah.
episode is basically just an episode of Peter getting ready for his day-to-day life. He's not Spider-Man yet. And there's a point I'm gonna make here, but I'm also gonna counter it. But basically, he's on his way to starting his day. He's on his way to a new school. He's starting at Midtown High, the typical school that he always goes to for smart kids. They skip the storyline with Uncle Ben. He's already gone, and they talk about it briefly, him and Aunt May. And when they get to the school for his first day of school, before he can even walk into the building, a strange portal opens up. and a Venom pops up, and Doctor Strange comes out after the Venom, and pandemonium starts because Venom is a stinking psycho and just does things for no reason. So he's in there tormenting the school, banging all this stuff up, and Strange is trying to contain him. And eventually, Peter's friend N.E.O pops up on the scene, and she's about to get attacked by Venom, and Peter decides to save the day. Was it N.E.O or was it Pearl? I can't remember right now.
No, it was
It was
N.E.O.
N.E.O,
It was
right?
N.E.O. It was N.E.O.
AKA not
And they
me, but
weren't
not
friends.
me, but her, N.E.O.
They they weren't friends either. They didn't know each other at the time.
No, they did. Remember in the last episode, she was like, I've known him since I moved here, bro. Oh, wait, did she just move to Midtown or whatever it is?
No, remember she told him her name. She said my name is N.E.O, and he got bit by the spider. He said, "Huh," and she was like, "Oh, you don't like my
Wait,
name or
yeah,
something
you're
like that."
right. You're right. Yeah, because I'm sitting there looking at the last episode that happened, and they're like, "Oh, we've been friends for like ever. He's been best friend. He told me all his secrets, and like they've known each other for like a month."
He's like, I know. She did say it. You right
now,
though. She
I'm
did
thinking
say
about
that.
that shit because he's like, as long as she's been around, they've been best friends. But like, how long has that really been actually?
In like a few months, she pump faking.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
you you made me think of that. I ain't even think of that. But yeah, so Nico's getting attacked.
yeah.
He ain't meet N.E.O yet, but he steps up because Peter Parker got a good heart, man. He's a good dude. He does the right thing. Venom starts running at him, and before the Venom can get to him, Doctor Strange wraps him up in them stupid ass whips that he got, and he tries to contain it, pulls him into the portal and all that, and they kind of go on their way. But as the portal is open, something comes descending from the portal, and it's the spider. Now, that's where I begin to have questions because everybody on the internet, when I seen it, them talking about, they just assume that this is a Strange from another universe, and I don't know why they just assume that he's a Strange from another universe. Because there's already heroes in this universe. They established that heroes exist, the Avengers exist, the attack on New York happened, so all these things in our MCU happened in this universe. The one thing that is changed now is that Pete meets N.E.O. The Venom pops up when he's starting his first day of school, and then he ends up not going to that school because that school gets destroyed, basically.
I don't think Strange is from another universe.
I don't either.
Yeah.
Because the one thing that made me stop and say I don't think Strange is from another universe is Into the Spider-Verse and all that stuff. And I was like, if Spider-Man 2099 is so pissed off about people getting bit by spiders that don't belong to their universe because it's not meant for them, why is this Peter okay? So
I mean, I think that's a good one too. I think even closer clue to he's not a Strange from another universe was that while he was attacking him, while the Venom attacked, the nigga Peter said Doctor Strange. He knew who he was. Everybody knew who he was. Everybody knew who he was. Everybody knew who Doctor Strange was. They said Doctor Strange. Like he was known for like popping up and doing shit like that. Clearly.
which is gonna be a little weird because I don't know if the MCU timeline has a Strange yet in that timeline, like the MCU. Is this a difference from the MCU to this universe where Strange
Well,
exists there?
I think this is different, but I think they just took different. They took parts. It's like a battle world type of shit. Like you know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like
Well, I
you
wouldn't
know,
say it's a battle world. It's more just like it's a
it's like a
parallel
battle
universe
world
that
of
just got a
Peter
lot of
Parker,
differences. Yeah,
like Spider Man.
it's just got a lot of
Like you know what
differences
I
going
mean?
on.
So I feel like in this dimension, some of the things that happen in other dimensions, it occurred as well. Like like I mentioned, like the Sokovia Accords and all that stuff like that. That happened in this dimension. It
Hmm.
just might have happened differently because remember when they showed,
Well, they did
um,
discuss that Civil War was the reason for the Sokovia Accords, just like in the movies.
but remember Spider Man wasn't there though in
Exactly,
this
because he's
dimension.
not Spider-Man yet, and
He's
it
not
happens
Spider.
prior to him
Exactly.
being Spider-Man. So there are differences. So that's why I'm like, it doesn't not make sense, but it's not really important, honestly. If Strange
It's
already
really
exists in
not.
that universe, and if he's not from that,
Yeah.
so with that happening, Peter basically, goes on about his life, and he goes to another school where he's getting accommodated, and he's making friends, and he's got this crush on this girl named Pearl. He makes friends with the quarterback of the football team, Lonnie Lincoln, who ends up bagging Pearl because he's taking too long to go talk to her. And N.E.O basically puts it, when N.E.O challenged him to see who could bag first, she was like, I bet you I could bag
Hey,
it
you
first.
know what? All right,
If you
here's
don't do
the
it, I
thing.
will.
Not facts. But here's the thing. Now that I'm thinking Midtown High, where he was supposed to go to Midtown High. I'm
Mm-hmm.
thinking that was freshman year, right?
Yes.
So when that happened in freshman year, I think when we get to the story of him knowing Pearl and Lincoln, how they're talking about how he has this crush and how he's been having this crush on everything, I believe, I don't know, I could be wrong. They're either in their last year of like, junior high school or already in high school now. Cause he had to have had this crush for years for them to be insinuating like, yo, what like for Nico
He
to be insinuating
knows
like, yo,
Pearl already. He knew Pearl. He grew up around Pearl. Remember she was the babysitter.
scratch everything I just said, my
Yeah,
fault.
yeah, yeah. I'll let you get it off, but I
Yeah,
I had to see where you were
yeah,
going first before I
yeah.
stopped it. But
I forgot about that movie.
yeah, she
I
was the
forgot about that movie
babysitter,
too.
so he knew her
Yeah,
already. He didn't know Lonnie, but he knew her.
yeah. Yeah, I
Um,
forgot about that. You read about that. You read about that. You read about that.
yeah. So this episode basically, I want to say this is the episode that ends with Norman, also, right? We'll,
This,
we'll call it that.
this,
Ends with Norman.
this is like where they do that whole Tony Stark reflection thing, like when he walking through the house.
Yes, where they do the ending scene as basically the same as Homecoming when he walks in the house and
Yeah,
Tony Stark's just in the living room with Aunt May. It's the same thing basically, like basically the whole same idea. And instead of it being Tony Stark in the living room with Aunt May, it's Norman Osborn with Spider-Man. And that's how the episode
yeah.
ends. It, like Larry cuts off, he's like, Norman Osborn, and he's like, you're in, then we go on away. And you get the nice twist that, Norman Osborn is a black dude with waves. So it makes more sense why he has waves now. Do ragged up. um, so the second episode basically begins, and this is where we'll kind of take an intermission once I get a little deeper into this, so you can explain stuff. But this is where he gets explained to that Norman is there because he's interested in giving him an internship because he knows he's one of the students who is supposed to be at Midtown that is not at Midtown, which is really good for Peter because it allows him to still do what he wanted to do, even though he's at a different school. So basically, this episode is more about him getting acclimated in school and him getting acclimated to his powers and him getting acclimated to his internship at Oscorp, where he meets people like Amadeus Cho, and I forget the other two characters' names, but all those characters are actually relevant in comics. I think
They
I've
are.
seen
They really
Amadeus
are.
Cho
Yeah.
is a Hulk at some point. I'm pretty sure in the comics.
Yeah. No. They are. Everybody's important.
Yeah, he gets gamma and put in him, and he just becomes a Hulk. I know that's Amadeus Cho for sure. I'm not familiar with the other two, and one of the new changes that you see is Dr. Connors, because Dr. Connors is
Oh. Yeah.
I want to say she's a Middle Eastern woman, but I don't want to be quoted on that because I'm not sure.
Um.
But
You know what? I admit to not even knowing that was Dr. Connors until about, and she gets introduced episode 2, but I didn't
she had the
notice
one
her.
arm.
I did not know that she had one arm until about episode 4. And I was like, and I looked at her and I said, oh shit, I said that's Dr. Connors. I was like, oh shit. I was like, what the fuck?
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
so I missed it. That went over my head real quick. I just didn't see it.
Yeah. So basically, what goes on in this episode also. So outside of this, he gets cool with Lonnie. Lonnie, he actually is kind of nervous about dealing with Lonnie because they get partnered up as a science class for a science class project. And Lonnie is actually a bright kid. He's not just some jock. And Peter is actually shocked because he made the assumption that Lonnie was just a jock, and then they start clicking, and they're pretty cool. It is a little awkward for Peter because Lonnie is now dating the girl that he has a crush on. But I like Lonnie and Peter's relationship a lot. Like they're very friendly with each other at the beginning, and it's very wholesome to see his friendship with him.
I
The
want to
cool.
say I saw that going awry from the beginning. I see
Well,
this
I mean,
going
he's
awry.
Lonnie Lincoln. He's Tombstone. It gotta go bad, and it always goes bad because they normally never have a hate for Peter. They have a hate for Spider-Man, and then they find out he's Spider-Man.
And they
So
find out it's
that's where
Peter,
the
and
issue
they
comes
be
from.
like, bitch.
It's like, motherfucker, you been smiling in my face and then fighting me at nighttime, bro? Like, what?
Like, yo, like, nigga, we just made sandwiches, my nigga. Now you going back?
We just got an A plus on the science project, cuz. But yeah, so
Yeah.
it's cool that he's
You
getting
do be going
acclimated to
through
his
funny
powers and
shit.
his little t-shirt and suit that he made and the webs that he made and stuff like that. And one of the main moments that he does, other than saving people, is he saves a kid from from getting jumped in an alleyway, and this kid happens to be Harry Osborn. So Spider-Man is Harry happens to be Norman's son, obviously, and they're rich. So this guy is like really grateful for being saved by Spider-Man, but goes on his way. And basically that episode kind of like I want to say ends there, like ends around that point, like with that kind of stuff that we talked about going on.
Well, nah. Actually, episode where we at?
Two.
We episode two, episode one. Yeah, episode two. Actually, we missed with All right, so Peter gets into the science club. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? They he's on an assignment. All of a sudden, he gets an alert that so he gotta go be Spider Man and shit.
Yes. Oh,
While he's in
he
the
has to go to the
building,
bathroom and all that.
yeah, so his regular excuse while he's in the building, he changes and everything. He goes be Spider Man, whatever, blah blah blah. Remember, he came back, and that's when Norman was like, "I gotta talk to you."
They end the episode with Norman catching him.
Yeah,
Yeah, while he's at Oscorp because he's changing the stairwell like an idiot. Like,
yeah, that was kind of dumb.
like
That was
you, like I get it. He's new
not
to this.
dumb.
He's
That was
new to this, so he
inexperienced.
don't really think
He's
it all through.
inexperienced. Yeah,
But you thought somebody like Norman Osborn don't got cameras like every fucking where in Oscorp's building?
I mean, you didn't even bother to look up, like, ask Peter Parker, like,
Well, he got an alert.
to
He
check.
said emergency, man. No time for this thought shit, bro. Like, but yeah. So those are the main points for that issue. I mean, for those episodes. And at that's the first week that this show comes out, and I'm actually in love with the show at this point because I'm actually like, whoa, we're already exposing Spider-Man. Like, we ain't wasting no time in the first week.
Osborn at that too.
Yeah, because it instantly makes you go like, ooh, that is not good. That is not
Yeah.
good.
I was like, the Goblin.
Yeah, and it's funny how they handle the second to last episode. I want to say it's pretty funny how they handle that stuff because there is a moment where I was like, ooh, Green Goblin moment. Ooh, Green Goblin mechanisms are coming. But
Yeah, I know that was like I mean, I was excited when I saw that, but then I'm just wondering how they gonna tie that in, more. I
yeah.
know they're gonna do a good job. They're doing a good job at it right now. So
So just kind of start speeding through it. I'm like, episode 3 is Secret Identity Crisis. So basically, he deals with the fact that Norman knows who he is, and Norman promises not to say nothing. But obviously, that's a bargaining chip to dangle over somebody's head, especially some kid. But he offers to help him as long as he works for Norman and does all the science stuff and shit like that. Blah blah blah. He'll fund it. He talks to him about the Sokovia Accord and all that stuff because they announced that the Sokovia Accords are going into play. And he's like, "Don't worry about that. We'll work around it." So he's basically dealing with the fallout of being caught and somebody knowing who he is now. And also, Lonnie is dealing with his own drama on the other side. And that's the other big side of the story is that Lonnie finds out his little brother is dealing with people that he really shouldn't be dealing with. And Lonnie
yep.
and Lonnie is just like this kid who really just wants to do whatever to make sure his family's life is peaceful. It's not like he don't have his parents around, but you can obviously tell they're in a hard neighborhood because they show his walk home after school one day, and you can tell he's bummed about the way his family's life is. But when he goes to figure out what his brother's doing and get him out of the situation, he meets the 110th gang and meets the big boss Don, and he's like, "Yo, your brother ain't leaving." I think his name is Dre. He's like, "Dre is not leaving, bro. Like, he decided to come here on his own accord. He wants to be down, and if he wants to be down, we are gonna have him, and you can't do nothing about that shit." So what does Lonnie do? Lonnie does what a dude in a superhero cartoon does that leads him down a bad path. Decides to trade places with his brother. I will be the guy in place of my brother. Let him go home. And yes, honorable, good shit. But we know how this goes. If you're familiar with Spider-Man and you're familiar with the character.
Let me just say, I'm gonna go and cut ahead some, because now you already said that Lincoln's in the gang now. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Let me just say the tension between um not the tension, the momentum in the gang is starting to shift. If little by little, they doing it little by little, episode by episode, and as you see it as like as Lincoln is like running from the Scorpion Gang. The other people are talking to him. They're like first they're laughing at him a little bit, then
He
they're like
gains respect.
saving him, and then he's like by the end of the episode, by the last episode, he's rallying them up. You know what I mean? To like, because
And Don
they're
looking like
not
a
even
big dad,
cheering
proud father
behind
in the back.
Don
He's
no
like, yeah,
more.
look at my boy Lonnie.
Like you feel me? Like they're not even cheering behind Don no more. Now it's when Lincoln or AKA Tombstone is like, yeah, like give it up, and now they're like, So I just want to say I'm really interested in how that's gonna play out. I already know Tombstone he's gonna end up bodying Don. I feel like that's gonna be like his change, like what I'm saying. He's gonna body Don or somebody's gonna get hurt, but he's gonna go to that OD Tombstone, mind state. But even before he becomes Tombstone, like he's just gonna get into that mind state, like you know what I mean. Like he's gonna become that gangster. Like I just know Don is in for it. Like like I know he's in for it. Like especially because he made him the way he made him join the gang. Like
Forced
it's
him in
like
it,
Black,
yeah.
like you just said, like your little brother can't get out, like blah blah. So now I basically gotta take his place. I gotta give up my football career. I can't hang with Peter Parker no more. I
I
can't
can't be
listen
around
to
my
my little,
girlfriend. I can't even
you
go see
feel
my
me?
mom. I can't see my
Like yo,
mom.
like dog got it coming, bro. Dog got it coming.
um, I kind of more feel like Don doesn't really have it coming. I think somebody else is gonna kill him, and the gang is at some point just gonna look at Lonnie like the next up. Like, well, not necessarily the next up, but that's the guy that they respect enough to make him the next up. Because, like we said, he's rallying the troops now at this point and stuff like that. Like, he's getting the gang to kind of like he's basically being a quarterback now, but for the gang.
Oh, the gang, yeah, that's crazy.
He
Yeah, how you
assumed
said
that
yeah.
position. He basically said, "This is time for me to do what I do best and get the
That's
gang
cool.
rallied up and
That's
ready
a
to
they
go."
did a good job at like making that a point with him. He's a
Yeah, taking
quarterback.
the skills you gain somewhere else and applying it elsewhere.
Yeah, they're
So
doing a good
that's
job.
what a smart individual does, man. They just take things they learn elsewhere and apply it somewhere else. And then the rest of that week's episodes are 4 and 5, and I'll kind of sum them up. And if we want, we can go back and break down some other things that happen because like there's stuff with Nico that happens. I feel like in like almost every episode, but they're not really important because it's more like just her emotional ties to like Peter and feeling like people like leave her and stuff because she's a foster child. So she's used to that feeling of not having friends. And that's what the thing is with a lot of Peter's friends is that they're not used to having friends that are at least genuine, like Peter at least, but they're not used to having friends. Um, so in
I
these,
wonder if they're gonna go bad
if they're
because
gonna
if
go
they go
bad,
to yeah, because if they go to the story where Norman turns into a goblin,
which I think
and
is
then
gonna happen
maybe
somewhere, he's already
yeah,
as the show progresses, he gets more pushy and entitled.
right. So it's like if Peter defeats him, are they gonna go the route where Harry finds that out, and then does Harry get angry? And then I feel like there's
Probably.
something very, I feel like there's something just a little evil about Nico. I don't know why. Like I feel like there's something there
The
that they
bad
that
part
they
about her character is I forget what she's like in Marvel Rivals. Like I know her pendant is like something with like some ancestor powers and stuff like that, but I
This
don't
is what
remember
I
the
mean.
full
Yeah.
details of her. And I forget it because I do think it's like a Raven type thing from Teen Titans where she like harnesses dark power and she don't even know it yet.
Mm,
And she's already a spiritual person. They point that out in the show that she's into tarot cards and stuff like that. So
right.
So I am interested to see how that goes. I don't know if Nico turns, but obviously Tombstone. Obviously Harry might be an issue later on, especially because they know who Peter Parker is. Honestly,
Right.
um, well, we ain't even get to that part, but basically in these next couple episodes, 3, 4, and 5, what goes on is like we said, he deals with Norman Osborn knowing. Lonnie deals with the gang. Peter and Norman. Oh, this episode 4 is pretty good when they're trying out all the suits.
I like that episode.
Like how you got Spider-Man and you know he's Spider-Man and you out here got him in like a bumblebee suit, bro, with wings. Like what is this shit? Then you got him like on some flying squirrel shit with the like, yeah, that's part of like a Spider-Man suit, but like, what are we doing here, bro? These costumes are ass, bro.
The black suit was okay, but he looked like
When
a
he had the
nigga from a
cape,
comic book. You like a nigga from Wakanda, so
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He had the cape looking all stupid. He got caught up with the cape. The cape got caught in like a turbine or some shit. Like, but it was fun seeing him go through the trial and error, failing, and be like, Norman, this ain't me, bro. And he'd be like, no, try another one. And it's like, bro, this really is not me. Like, I even have designs that I like. And you're like, no, but we worked hard on these suits for you, Peter. Like, try these out first. And, we'll consider. But the suit they land on was pretty fucking dope. I'm not gonna lie. Like, for it not being our traditional Spider-Man suit, I was like, that's kind of fly. That is kind of.
you talking about
The
was
white
it white
spider
and blue
suit,
or
that
white
white,
and
yeah,
black?
that white with the blue trim. I was like, woo,
Yeah,
clean.
that was cool. That was cool. That was cool. I ain't going front. Clearly it wasn't as indestructible as they thought it was, but it was cool though.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And then in episode 4, the part that's important other than Spider-Man and his creative differences with Norman is Lonnie undergoes that loyalty test, which ain't really a loyalty test. They just sent him to go get food in in the enemy gang neighborhood that he wasn't aware of. And they basically get chased down. He basically finds out that this is the Scorpion gang, led by who will eventually be Scorpion. Um, and they kind of get in. Is this the episode they get into the big fight, or is it? It might be next episode. One of these two episodes that come up.
I think like the next episode, like 5 or 6, one of those episodes
I think
they
it's
get in.
5 because 6 is like this week episode, and that happened
Yeah,
last week.
yeah, yeah. It's definitely 5. Yeah, it's definitely 5.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if
you're
it's
right.
not 4, it's 5. And then in episode 5, that's where we start seeing, um, what's his fucking name? His name Octavius, and he's handing out his super powered mechanical parts and helmets and stuff to people who want to go rob banks and stuff like that because that's how he makes his money. He gives it to that like Russian, Bulgarian woman, whatever her name is, that went by
Yeah,
Unicorn.
yeah. She had the build
So the
up
dude in the
red.
last episode who gives Don the information, that's not the dude who tried to get Unicorn to stop being bad when Spider-Man was beating him. When he was like, "Yo, we gotta get out of here."
Cool.
Remember in that episode when Spider-Man stops the Unicorn and she was breaking her friends out of jail, and then the two of them skated off and left him just out there to do whatever, and the one dude stayed behind because he's like, "Yo, I'm not leaving her behind. She just broke us out of jail, bro." Like, I think that's who that is who
Then he
gave Don
ended
the
up in
information.
jail anyway.
Yeah, the one.
Um,
Yeah, I think that's who gave Don the information is that dude with like the reddish orange hair. And I think that's gonna be
right.
actually I might be wrong because when I seen him, I was like, I think that's gonna be Rhino, that guy who didn't want to leave a unicorn behind.
Oh, yo, that's a good. I like that. I like that. I
Yeah, I was
like
like,
that
I
right
think that's gonna be Rhino right there. Down
I
the
didn't even
line.
think about that, but I like that. Yeah, I could see that happening.
So you get this episode where he's fighting crime, he defeats this unicorn person, and then some other people are robbing banks with these high powered gadgets and stuff like that. One has like super speed, and the other one like I forget what the other one had, like punching, like strong strikes and shit like that.
She was like strong, yeah. She was like yeah, powerful.
And that was like Spider Man's really like first challenge because like Unicorn was like a challenge, but he kind of figured it out and handled that. And so much was going on in that time that he kind of just like used all the chaos and confusion to easily like subdue that bad guy. But the two people that were like Bonnie and Clyde, they were giving Spider Man the works real quick, honestly.
Yeah, they was. Yeah, it wasn't Norman actually helped them out on that.
Yeah. Because he basically was talking him through it, and then something he said triggered Spider Man's brain and was like, "Oh yeah, that's how." Because they heard the humming when it was overcharging, and he was like, "Oh, that's when I go. All right, that's when I attack." So fun moments for Spider Man. Like I said, he's progressing through his abilities and learning how to actually use this stuff and make the best of what he's got. And then this is the episode. Episode 5 is where Lonnie and the gang get into the fight with the Scorpion gang. And they was duking. I'm not gonna lie, man. There's some graphic, but not graphic stuff that happens in this show, and I'm kind of shocked every time it happens because Lonnie gets stabbed.
People died. People died.
Yeah, people are dying. Like you see this stuff happen. You're like, oh, that dude dead. They ain't no
like
survivor.
Scorpion, like
We
this
getting
episode
there.
happened with the fight, but like when he became Scorpion, he killed somebody.
Oh, I seen that. I was like, oh, brother, you
Yeah,
dead. I was like, brother,
yeah,
you're gone.
he was done. He was done. Everybody stopped. It was like, whoa, this is part of the cartoon. It was like, what the
The
hell?
cartoon stopped, right? The cartoon was like, wait.
He said, whoa,
Like we didn't expect all this,
whoa,
bro. We wasn't ready for all this. But
not what we was drawn for.
yeah. So Marco, is his name Marco? I think it's something like that. Scorpion and his gang gets in a fight with Don, Lonnie, and his gang, and I don't
Mark
even know who
Gardner.
was really winning that shit, but like Don was kind of getting pieced up, and then Lonnie went over there to help Don, and then Scorpion like stabbed Lonnie, and then somehow it fucking ceased and shit like that, and it was a mess, honestly. And but Lonnie took it like a G. I'm not even gonna lie, bro. Like for some dude who don't even want to be involved with this shit, he kind of took it like a G.
Yeah, my man got stabbed in the arm. He looked at it, took it out, and threw the knife. I said,
Which is the
okay.
stupidest thing ever, bro. Like you're not supposed to just
Yeah,
like yeah, you don't want the knife in your
yeah.
arm, but they say you're not supposed to just pull it out because like you just let the blood flow. Like
That and you also puncturing yourself as you slicing out like the wrong way. You puncturing yourself more. So,
but
but I
I don't
mean,
want a
he,
knife in
he
my arm either, so I might have did the same thing.
right, yeah.
Just be
I
sitting
mean,
there like,
with the adrenaline rushing though, you're not gonna feel it. I mean, off topic real quick. When I was younger, my boy he was so drunk he got stabbed in the back and stabbed in the ass, and he didn't know. He for real, he got stabbed in the back and the ass. He did not know until he was like reached the building and niggas was like, "Yo, you're like bleeding," and he like fell out. So I guess when you're adrenaline rushing or when you're so drunk,
what
you're
was
so
going? I
numb.
was about to say what was going on prior to the stabbing that his adrenaline was so high he didn't know he got
Oh,
stabbed.
bro,
But
it was
like,
this was the Bronx early
that's kind of
2000s.
crazy to not notice you got stabbed twice.
Yeah,
Like, what?
this is
And one's
crazy.
in your ass. Like, how you not notice that, bro? The whole time
You're
you
not the only
walking,
one of my
when
boys
you're
that got
moving your
stabbed in
legs, you
the ass.
don't feel that shit, bro. Like that shit gotta, your body didn't feel a little different. And he probably
Bro,
just talked it
he
up to
not the
being drunk, right?
only.
He just talked it up to being drunk, like, ugh, I'm drunker than I normally am today. Shit.
Bro, he not the only one of my boys that get stabbed in the ass either.
Wait, you got a bunch of niggas that are like beefing with Ray J or something, bro? Like,
My nigga got one of my other niggas got stabbed in the ass at the Rumble. It's an old Bronx. It's an old Bronx club. Remember they used to do the school when the school used to be out on Mondays. They used to have the parties in the clubs on Sundays and shit for the teens.
mm-hmm.
The Rumble was a place in the Bronx. The nigga got stabbed in the ass on a Sunday.
That's crazy. That's wild. Hey, I mean, as long as they good, right?
Correct.
That's a
Sacrifice
crazy
me. I'm
space. That's a
sorry.
crazy place to choose to stab somebody. Like I know you probably didn't, like you're so like just you're not thinking and you're just swinging, but like why are you swinging so low? Like
Imagine you come to help your boy, and instead of stabbing a nigga in the back, you just run up on him and start stabbing his ass. You like, oh,
yo, you gotta scream, take that, take that, take that, take that.
yeah. Imagine witnessing that shit. I would be like, oh hell no, I'm out of here. I'm leaving.
I don't know why this just triggered my memory. You know, you're like the first time I ever seen that Soldier Boy dance crank that.
Ooh, me?
Yeah. I remember it was at the Q. It was at the motherfucking Q. Matt,
Where the fuck did that come from?
because you were talking about like back in the day clubbing, and I'm like, yo, back in the day clubbing, I'm like, yo, damn, me and Mo actually went to a couple parties back in the day, bro. Like, what's
Oh
kicking it?
shit.
Remember the hotel party?
Yeah, we went to a hotel
Yeah,
party.
remember
We
we
went to
would
a
walk
hotel
back to the
party.
twins'
We
house
went
because
to the
niggas started walling at the fucking hotel,
yeah,
and they
niggas. I
fucking
remember
was
somebody
jumping off
jumped off the
the
fucking
fucking
host.
parking lot and shit.
Somebody jumped off the parking lot shit. He didn't want to get beat up. Nigga jumped off.
He jumped off like the second floor of the parking garage, bro.
He
Like,
didn't want to fight. He
and
didn't
niggas
want to
said, well,
fight.
that's the night. We out of here.
He said, fuck it.
And that's like when I first met you. We probably knew each other for like maybe 3-4 months at that time, bro.
Yo,
Because you were
that
just
was
moving
that
to
was the
Connecticut at
funniest
that time.
shit. Yeah, that was the funniest shit. That was one of the funniest shit ever. Like at that time, I remember that shit.
Yo, and we're youths at that time. Because realistically, that's 20 years ago, bro.
Wow.
Think about
Well,
it. When
really?
we're in our
Damn.
30s, that was like 16, 17.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's wow. That was like 20 years ago.
Crazy that I've known you that long. We never really thought about that, right?
That's fucking nuts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. All right,
We've had
back
a
to
lot of life after high school, bro.
back to NEO. Back to
Yeah. So
NEO.
back to this. We gonna go through these last 3 episodes now because that's literally what we got left this week. As of today, the last 3 episodes are out, and this is
They're
leading up
really
to a
good.
nice spot for Spider-Man, and actually for the season finale. This is really lining up for a nice spot. So you have Duel with the Devil. And if you can put two and two together, you guys can figure out what pops up if you're really gonna use your noodles. But
They're
what
really
is
good.
basically
Yeah.
to kind of fly through this, what the main meat and potatoes of this episode is Spider-Man trying to balance his life and also be a good Spider-Man. And also he's trying to bring his friends together because remember, N.E.O does not really dig that he's hanging with Harry Osborn. And let me speak about Harry Osborn real quick. From the first episode that he was in, I was confused as fuck by him because I am not sure if he's at all. I don't know if there's a little zest sugar in that tank. But then
I
at
think him and
points,
Nico gonna get it on.
and this is why I'm like, this final episode was confusing the fuck out of me, bro. Because I'm like, I something about the way they designed his character look a little zesty. And in that moment when he was getting jumped in the about to get jumped in the alley, I was like, something's just a little soft, like a little zesty about my man. Nothing wrong with that. Because like they're not overdoing. If you is, they're not overdoing it with this character. And I think it's more of his attire. But then they also just kind of make it that he's a pretty boy, a really big pretty boy. So I'm confused
Right.
if he just dresses kind of feminine-ish and he's just straight, or is he a little?
I think that's just his style. I think honestly, I think he might be into women.
Because what was it? When he knocked at Nico's door, or when the mom came, when the foster mom came to the door, and then she was like, "Oh, well, isn't he cute?" See, she looked at him like a regular dude, not like somebody who's wearing like feminine clothes. So I was like, so that tells me that he's not gay in
And
any sense.
I feel like Nico definitely
She's bi. We know that. Like now, after that episode, we know she's bi. Because at first she makes it. She tells us she likes girls. Because remember, she was like, "I'll go talk to Pearl,
yeah.
whatever her name is." And we've been skipping a
Yeah.
lot of Pearl, but I feel like Pearl's insignificant enough at this moment that we don't have to really talk about her.
She's not
She's
even
more
when
like
she
a
tried to
bridge.
be
She's more like a bridge character right now who bridges people together.
yeah, even when she tried to be when she got caught out in the shootout, it was like, I forgot she was there until like the next
Yeah, she's
episode.
really like just the sweetheart for Lonnie at this moment, and that's really her whole purpose. She's
Yeah,
part of the story of Lonnie like turning to the dark side and turning his back on his old life. That's basically her point right now. And I'm pretty sure she'll be more important later on, but like for now, she kind of just feels like the love interest of our two characters in the show. But
right.
so Duel
Like
with
a
the
buffer.
Devil goes into this situation where Peter sets up. Oh, this is what I got to bring up from prior episode. Peter is trying to set up Harry and N.E.O not to be a thing, but he just wants them to hang out because he feels like if we're all friends, we should all be friends. And N.E.O's very much on the not corporate side of things. He does not support people who seem like arrogant egoists and shit like that, or just people who are just manipulating people for money and stuff like that. The rich, like the rich eating the poor and stuff. She's not into that. So she looks at Harry just from seeing his Instagram and all that and thinks he's like a scumbag. And Peter's trying to get her to understand like he's actually a good kid. Like this is a kid who's just misunderstood because he don't got friends and he's literally just around rich people all day doing rich people shit. But so they're chilling at his house with Aunt May, and Aunt May be all over the place, man. Like for that's one thing about Aunt May. She just out there, bro. Like she don't seem. They be bringing up that she miss Uncle Ben, and I don't know if she out and about so much because she's just trying to take her mind off Ben. But she had that episode when they're chilling at the house. She's like, "Don't wait up for me." Like,
Yeah,
excuse me.
she's like Tom Holland's Aunt May.
Yeah, and I'm cool with that being the way that they want to approach her. That she's like hip and kind of young and still a little mobile and all that. Because it's way better seeing that coming from somebody her age than 67-year-old Aunt May in the older versions of the cartoons and stuff like that. Because her being active at all, actually, Aunt May wasn't really active in the old comics. She was just more like the person people would use to get to Peter a lot of times.
Yeah, she was. Yeah,
She
she was
wasn't really
always
active.
getting.
But in these newer variants, she's more active and out and about than she was. But what happens while Nico, Harry, and Peter are actually having a grand time together? Motherfucking Norman Osborn calls, and every time Norman Osborn calls, Peter can't tell him no because he's just gonna take his suit back. He feels like, and he's just dangling the tip over his head. But basically, why he's calling him is because Norman Osborn had a break in at his office, and he was at like a political event and couldn't leave. So he asked Spider-Man to go. And he goes, he sees that somebody did hack in, he's following them, he don't know where they go, but he eventually finds the figure on the roof, and the figure ends up being your boy Daredevil. And Daredevil's,
Charlie Cook.
yep, Charlie Cox. He's just trying to leave. And he looks at Spider-Man, he basically tells him, he's like, yo, bro, I don't really want to do this. You're a kid, you ain't really ready for this shit. And you don't even know what you're getting yourself into because you're working for Norman Osborn and he's hiding something. And Peter, being Peter, has to hit him with a witty comeback line. You're also hiding something. You forget you're wearing a mask? Like, being Peter. And then proceeds to get his ass whooped. That
Yeah,
shit was
that
smooth
fight.
too. He threw that fucking baton stick at him and he dodged that shit, thought he was somebody. And that shit ricocheted off of like several different things on some Daredevil shit and knocked that boy out cold, bro.
Yeah, I was like, damn.
Yo, honestly,
That nigga
Peter spent
different.
these last 3 episodes getting his ass whooped.
He did. He learned his lesson because before that they was really showing him just beating up niggas, and now he got
Yeah.
beat up.
He got the fun moments of learning his new powers, and then they had to show him like, no, there's some real life shit that's about to happen, bro. Like there's some stuff bigger than what you know how to do right now. So
Because honestly, he didn't know that he could heal so fast until he got punctured like that.
mm-hmm. Which we're gonna
It
get
was
to. Cause basically he tells Norman what happens, and he tells him that this devil guy was there, this and the third, and he instantly is like, oh, Otto Octavius got to be behind this. Da, 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 da. And he basically starts breaking it down to Peter that he used to work with him and they didn't agree on things like how to use gamma because people think it's too dangerous, but Norman is like, we're not exploring its potential. So he gets Spider-Man to kind of believe that Norman's in the right, which
point, by the way.
I feel like Norman is gonna be like a morally like back and forth character. Like you're gonna understand a lot of his reasonings, but you're also gonna know like this is Norman Osborn, bro. Like can't trust
Nah,
him in
I think he's lying. I think he's lying about the gamma. I think he just they probably disagreed on how to use it, yeah, but I
shit.
think he's used, of course.
I do think he's somewhat lying on this because in a sense, I'm almost like, yeah, Octavius probably ain't no innocent dude, but I feel like you're planting something on Octavius. Like you're trying to make it look like Octavius more than it is, where you have your own things that you're doing behind the scenes. Also, you out here creating spider suits, bro. Like you got some heavy duty technology too, bro.
Yeah, fuck the spider suit. He's out here creating gliders. What's that
And
about?
the moment when they go back into the room with all the other students and in the Oscorp building, and they see that Peter's little project is working, and that other professor has to give him kudos even though he don't want to. That dickhead who's probably gonna be like Vulture or something later on because he just got a Vulture face.
Yeah, he
But
doesn't.
Dr. Connors is talking to him, and he says, Peter, do you know why Oscorp is turning into a zoo? And you know what I thought when I saw them animals in the cages? Remember they took Peter's blood. What was the point of that if you're just trying to make sure he's all right?
And the fact that he knows he's Spider Man now too.
Exactly. And I'm like, are you going to reverse engineer his blood to try to figure out if you can start doing this with other creatures to other people?
The Rhino, Scorpion.
Exactly. Well, the Scorpion is a mechanical suit, but the
Scorpion is
Rhino does
that.
not
I meant
need to
to
be a
say,
mechanical suit. So the Rhino would probably be a breed of Rhino getting infused into a person, right?
Right. Yeah.
So basically, you're gonna figure out how Spider-Man's gene works now, and you're just gonna figure out how to replicate that with other animals and stuff like that.
But then again, I can see that happening because that
Like
happened
that
in
could
the
be Morbius.
cartoon.
Is how they make Morbius too. Remember, he's not like literally a vampire. He's more like a bat than a vampire.
Right. Yeah.
So in Craven the Hunter, like we just seen Craven the Hunter the movie, and he got bit by a lion and infused with lion DNA. Who's to say Norman Osborn doesn't just create Craven the Hunter in this show? Like at the end of the day.
It'd be interesting, and then it'd be even interesting to see all that shit get mixed up into him and creating the Goblin.
Yeah, yeah. So to go off of that with the rest of the episodes, we see the Scorpion get his suit from Otto Octavius. One thing that happens that's important is Harry tells Nico that Peter's Spider-Man, and she doesn't believe him. And she starts goofing with him when he comes back from whatever he was doing, and she grabs his bag. I don't know why she randomly just grabbed the bag, but but the mask falls out, and she just storms out because she's upset that this is a secret she kept from him, from her, but Harry knew. So she felt like she was losing a friend and Harry was taking her place. And that's important because Harry does as much as he can to try to rectify that situation between Nico by going and picking her up and just like, hey, I just want to talk. I know we got off on the right foot, but then the wrong foot. But like, I'm not trying to steal Peter as your friend. He's just a genuinely good guy, and I like hanging out with him. Like, that could be your friend. I want to be your friend. And there was definitely a moment where I thought they was about to, like have a romantic moment.
Right.
But that didn't happen. And they went on about their day. Oh, but before that, my girl Nico was out there whipping that bitch. She was out there, right? Fast and the Furious.
Got a bad side.
Yeah. That is one thing I definitely noticed in that moment is that she is definitely she lets her temper get her. That is definitely something Nico does often throughout the show, at least 3 or 4 times. Her little attitude gets her, and it takes over how she acts. She doesn't behave the same anytime that Peter does something that makes her question his friendship with her, and she gets all dry and doesn't want to talk and stuff like that.
I can see her emotions going crazy, her powers manifesting, some shit like that.
And that's why I kind of compared her to Raven from DC, because that's how I vaguely remember her powers being in the Runaways show that they did years ago. I'm trying to think what else is major that happens here, other than Spider-Man getting his ass beat, but and the 1/10 gang getting their ass beat.
Oh yeah, the 1/10, yeah.
Yeah, and so we can go back to that part, bro. The Scorpion comes in there dolo. He comes in there dolo too, like doesn't even come with his gang, just pops up and starts fucking shit up because he's got the Scorpion suit. And then this one dude is like trying to run away, and this dude Scorpion literally just sends his tail right through this man's body, bro. And everybody's just like, and they literally just had dude's body just hanging up in the top left corner of the screen for like 40 seconds, bro. It's letting you know, like, that man ain't moving no more, bro. And he proceeds to beat all that ass. Pearl's there because she's trying to get Lonnie to leave the gang, and he ain't leaving the gang. And then, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man shows up and semi-saves the day before he gets his ass just thrashed by fucking Scorpion.
He was doing his thing, but,
Then he ran out of webs. That's what happened. He ran out of webs.
He ran out of webs, and I think this Spider-Man here is not strong enough. Like, he ain't do no push-ups yet.
Nah, it's not that. It's not that. Because remember, Norman keeps saying it to him. He was like, yo, the problem, because remember, after he fails in episode 7, the majority of episode 8 is him trying to like recover mentally from that and see if he actually has it. Because remember, Spider-Man always goes through that moment where he's like questioning himself and was like, I'm not even going to be Spider-Man.
He don't know his own strength.
He basically, and that's what Norman was telling him. He's like, you go in with doubt, so you hold yourself back. Where somebody like Scorpion, he did not hold back. And that's why you're in the position you're in now. Because this is somebody who's willing to do what had to be done. And you are not there yet. And Norman basically tells him, like, if you can't get to that point, I don't know if we should keep working together. Dangling that chip over his head. Because Peter definitely doesn't want to lose his suit and all that stuff. So Peter's got a lot that he's got to figure out. But back to his regular life, because, he's got to balance that stuff. He goes to go try to, study or get ready for a project with Pearl. And then Lonnie shows up after the whole events that happened with Scorpion. And they kind of break it off because Lonnie's like, I'm not leaving the gang, shawty. And she's like, well, if that's the life you want to live, I don't want nothing to do with it. And he said, well, goodbye. And then Peter, for some reason, decides to run out the window. I don't even know how he got out the window without nobody noticing him because they was right there. And then Lonnie, who's like forever walking with his head down, never looking up in New York City, bro. And Spider-Man just lands in front of him and tries to convince him to to leave the gang and, do right by Pearl. And he's like, yo, bro, you don't even know, like, the depths of this or why I'm doing any of this shit. Like, you kind of got to just let me do me because I've made my mistakes and this is how I got to make up for him at this point now. And Spider-Man doesn't even go back to Pearl's house to finish studying. He just goes home.
I thought that was weird.
I was like, what? You just ran off on this girl and she comes in, like, she's emotionally destroyed. But you wanna know what the funny part was? I was like, please, Peter, don't be a lame Lance and try to bag this girl while she's in this distress point. So yeah, it's good you left, honestly, because she probably would have started confiding in you. They were showing moments where she was like, when she nudged him on the shoulder, and you seen Peter kind of look over, like, ooh. But yeah, so I was like, I don't want Pete going down the lame Lance road and like bagging Pearl because of this. But bagging Pearl is more motive for Lonnie to start feeling away.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be crazy because he'll feel some way but against Peter
And Pearl.
and and Pearl, but when Peter
When he
when
finds
Spider
out Peter is Spider-Man while he's tuned, so he's like, oh, word, I double hate your ass, man. You be fighting my gang and you stole my bitch, motherfucker. And you supposed to be my boy. You know, and remember, that's a consistent that happens a lot. Because remember, Mary Jane, Gwen, they normally deal with people like Harry at some point in his stories.
Right, yeah.
So it's not far off for that to happen. And it could be N.E.O and Harry, for all we know. But they've kind of lined up two scenarios where it could go to either one, and it makes sense either way. And you know Peter be a ladies' man, low-key, so, like, he could just bag...
Go ahead. I can see N.E.O liking Peter somewhere down the road.
Yeah,
and
I can see it.
And even that, making that strange between him and Harry.
I see her more as the Mary Jane of this show than I see Pearl. So... But she's also like Mary Jane / Ned. Like, but that's what Harry's there for. He's the Ned. So as of right now.
Peter Parker is a ladies' man. He has no rules when it comes to his friends' bitches. That nigga will fuck his friend's bitch. Or
yeah, but it's normally because he's hitting it off with them prior to his friends bagging, bro. Like, because remember, the only reason why he don't be going and like bagging the chicks he like is because he knows being Spider-Man is risky for their lives. So he really doesn't take steps that he wants to take because he knows he's putting people in danger by doing it. This Peter doesn't know that yet, but that's normally the way it goes.
It'd be that one night, too many spider shots on the bro.
It's getting sticky.
Nigga looked over and shit, the eyes moving, the costume and shit. You like,
yeah. So let me think. Man. Is there anything else that really happens here? So Scorpion is beating his boy's ass, and it's funny because they thought he stopped him because he ties him up in the webs, and then what he does is what they were talking about earlier, is how they were saying gamma could affect the body. Remember, he started overcharging the suit to get out of the webs, and then it's like started burning his skin, and it's probably like attached to him now. He's probably welded to that suit now. Yeah, I don't know how he's gonna pee anymore, but
yeah. I think that's how it happens. Where yeah,
I don't know. I don't remember if it was like a full body suit, but I hope it ain't no like full body like around the torso type thing. Because how he about to pee if that shit is welded to him nowadays?
It wasn't. You know what? The regular suit and like the Scorpion, you know, it's how it's all green. That one is full body, but this one he had like just.
It was like a chest type of thing, right?
Yeah, it was like a. He had shoulder plates, something on the back, you know, with the tail and everything. But I think this part right here was kind of exposed.
Okay. Cool, yeah, because I wasn't really paying too much attention to his Scorpion costume because I figured that's gonna get an upgrade somewhere
down the line. Yeah, me too. Yeah. I figured that's like the first version of it.
So when Peter Parker webs up Scorpion and they think he beat him and he's done, you know, he tells Norman that yeah, I'm good because Harry's not around right now. He's off doing something. He's off chilling with N.E.O. That's what he's fucking doing. And Norman is like, okay, cool, our job is done. So he puts the headset down and goes off about his business shit. And Peter then realizes that this dude is breaking out and he's about to get his ass whooped because he ain't got no fucking webs. And he's calling for Norman. He's like, Norman! And that motherfucker just ain't answering, ain't replying. Like I said, he off playing in his tablet and shit. Yo, when they had Dr. Octavius with that other dude that's like his assistant, and he was like, are you playing that game again, bro? And he was like, man, I'm farming XP before they fucking patch this exploit that I found. I was dying. But when I looked at the screen, I'm like, that's an exploit, bro. That looks like you just playing the game. Like, whatever. Yeah. But that was kind of funny and weird, because why is that guy so caring of Dr. Octavius? He's like, yo, you need me to bring you soup? I like, that's
Who
your
is that
boyfriend?
guy?
I like, that's your boyfriend?
Yeah.
Mommy want to bring you soup. That's a
Yeah,
crazy,
who
like,
is that
if
guy?
one of you motherfuckers ever offered to bring me soup and I don't have the flu, I'm gonna think something is up. I'm like, whoa, you better bring me some fucking KFC or something, nigga. Like, shit.
I'm looking at the characters now, and I'm like, who was that guy?
I don't know his name, actually. I don't know his name, and I'm not gonna make it an effort to figure out who that person is right now, because I do feel like he's gonna play a role later, but I'm down to just find out what it is later on. A couple cameos that we've seen, that you did mention. Iron Man pops up when they bust Octavius, because they do bust his ass in his warehouse and shit, and he thinks he's getting away because he was smooth getting away with that shit too. He was smooth getting away with that shit. And then Ross
No,
popped.
it's
Yo, when Ross popped up, I
not.
rolled my eyes because I'm like, dog, I'm about to see you again on Friday. Like, actually, probably tomorrow. I might go tomorrow night, but I'm gonna see you again tomorrow, my boy. And I'm like, look at Red Hulk bum ass, Red Hulk bum ass. And then Tony Stark pops up, and and actually, I like that Tony Stark and Steve Rogers, their suits are kind of reminiscent of their like older comic looks, not their newer looks.
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
Doctor Strange is more like his older look than his newer look.
Yeah, Doctor Strange was definitely older look. Another cool
Tony
one.
Stark and Stephen Strange look way too similar though. Like when he flipped up the mask, I was like Doctor Strange, but
Yeah. You know what? They
they
always do
always
that in the
do. Yeah,
cartoons.
they always.
Yeah, they
Because
always
I'm
put
not
them in
gonna
the cartoons.
lie, Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man and Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange ain't too far off. And I always say they remind me of each other in the movies. They're very witty and snarky
You
people.
change the eyebrows up, yeah, you're definitely gonna get like a similar thing to them.
Yeah.
Um,
And they very much
Pete the
kind of have the same
Chameleon.
personality.
You had Pete the Chameleon. I thought that was I always like seeing the chameleon for
Where
some
was the
reason.
chameleon? I did not peep that. Maybe I did and I just missed it.
The chameleon was the dude in the white mask with the chain on
That's who I'm
and the
talking about. Who
turtle
gives
hat.
Don the info?
Yeah, oh, that's the
Now
chameleon.
I'm now I said that I think it's the dude who might be Rhino later, but it might be the other dude who ran off on the unicorn. Because I'm
Yeah,
assuming it's one of them people that is the chameleon. Wait, the
I can't
chameleon? Like the
confirm
Craven
that.
the Hunter brother?
Yeah,
Ah, makes sense why they're rushing. Okay, gotcha. Boom. I gotcha. All right, see, look at that. Connect the dots, man. Connect four out here. Like, we got it. But yeah, I feel like that sums it up, right?
oh yeah. At the end of it, Harry, is basically talking to Peter. He's like, "Listen, man, I know you're down, my nigga, but I got you. I know you say you wanted some color in your suit. Here we go. We've been working. I have my boys put this together for you."
I seen your
And then
doodles.
he,
Ah, yeah, and then you get the glare of his Spider-Man suit in the glasses, and we cut to the end, and that's it. And next week is the last two episodes, so this will be the
yeah,
first episode I think that we're not rating at the end. I don't think it's worth rating until we watch the final two.
yeah, nah. Yeah, I can agree with that. One thing I want to say though that's really funny. If you go to anybody's if you go to behindthevoiceactors.com, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you go to your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Yes.
These I don't know if this was meant to be like this, but
Do
the
they look similar to the
characters
real
and
people?
the actors, they all look a fucking like, yo. Look at
Domingo do not look
no,
like Norman. Norman does not look like Domingo though. Like,
bro, no. I mean, yo, okay,
but there's
not
enough characters who I've seen just from you doing that look
nah,
similar. Because I was like,
like,
Nico's character
yo,
can hit.
bro, that looks very,
Honestly,
that looks
honestly,
very,
honestly, yeah, I'm taking it back. I'm taking it back instantly
bro,
because I can see that if they did a
nah.
live action version of this, I can see Domingo being Norman Osborn.
Look at Pearl.
Is that girl
They
Filipino,
made
Kathy
them
King?
very similar.
Because
Look
because
at Harry.
because Home Chick is Pearl is Filipino.
Right, but they made look at this nigga Oswald.
Hey yo, come on, man! Like when you go back up to Harry, look at the Rhino. Like that's gotta be Rhino. Word, like that's gotta be Rhino
Yeah,
down
nah.
there.
When you said that was
This
Rhino, I
dude,
said, oh
right? Like
yeah,
that's
that's
gotta be him with his
Rhino.
diesel ass face, bro. Like what the fuck?
Hey, look, that's the chameleon. That was
Okay,
the
okay, okay,
chameleon.
okay.
So
Ross and
um,
shit. But go back up a little bit. There was somebody who I wanted to see real quick. I'm gonna tell you when to stop. Right there, Harry. Come on, man. He don't look a little saucy right there, bro.
He do.
I'm so
He
happy
does.
that he's like really not, but like I
He
wouldn't
does.
honestly. When I first was thinking it, I was actually very okay with it. I was like, if he is, cool,
Like, look
whatever.
at Peter. If you think about Peter without the mask, he looks just like
Well,
that
you
dude.
want to know why they cast this guy? They cast him because he is actually the voice of Spider-Man in the video games.
Oh, pretty cool.
Wait, I think I'm wrong there. He might be he's actually What If Spider-Man from the Zombies episode. He's the voice of that Spider-Man.
Okay, got
If
you.
you remember, before the show dropped, there was drama around his name. Did you see that? That there was drama around his name?
Wow.
Because he said, which I thought was really stupid, he said something along the lines of when he was
Look at
being.
Strange.
Yo, that's crazy.
Yeah, they
Hey,
silly
have you
for
ever
that.
seen? So speaking of this, have you ever seen the dude who's the voice actor for a Mermaid Man in SpongeBob?
Nah.
Yo, they literally just drew that nigga, bro. They got the voice actor and just drew
Word.
that nigga, bro. Because he's literally Mermaid Man in real life. Oh shit. Nah, he really is the speedster, dude. Oh shit. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, because Charlie Cox does voice Daredevil in this. Okay, got you. But back to the
Yeah.
Spider-Man voice actor. He came out and he said when I was getting offered this role, and I was reading the script, the one thing that I was very concerned about is that it wasn't going to be too woke and too annoying. And everybody went into rage about that shit. They're like, what do you mean by too woke and too annoying? And I don't know if it's just because I watch so many things like Star Wars and stuff like that, where you get all these people who are constantly complaining about things being too woke, like the Acolyte and stuff like that, where I totally got where he was coming from. Because some of these shows are doing a little too much with the wokeness, and it is kind of cringe sometimes what they do with these shows. And if you guys really want to be serious and taking what he said into consideration, if he still took the role, that means it wasn't too woke and annoying. Like this show is diverse. Like it's doing things that it's not just white people in the show. Like it's showing the different ethnicities and shit, different lifestyles. So like he looked at this and still was like, this is cool. I fuck with this. It's not trying to
The show,
force messages down your throat. That's what he was basically saying.
the show gives you a real cool feel of some type of time in New York. I can't really pinpoint when they're like,
It's like a mix
but
of old New York with modern day New York.
yeah, it gives you a good feel of like just how like if you're like a New Yorker, like how like New Yorkers like. Because when I was watching the show, I feel like it does a very good job at reflecting like certain things
And I
about
feel like
like
that's
the
encompassed in Lonnie.
and that and yeah and that and a lot of that comes, but a lot of like Peter too, with him on just traveling around the city, like I mean like
But
just
he's
the
web
things they
slinging
show too.
like,
But
for
a
the
lot,
most part.
like you're right about that though. A lot of it does come with Lonnie, like because a lot of his story you see more
And that's why I'm
of the inner.
saying that they aren't not doing woke stuff in this show. They're just not being overly aggressive and shoving it down your throat constantly. And that's what that actor was talking about. He's like, I just didn't want to be a part of a show where it felt mad forced, where to the point that people are complaining about it being too woke. And they're hitting the nail on the head. They're doing it just fine.
Right? Yeah, yeah. They doing a good job, man. They
Yeah,
doing a
like
good job. Yeah,
and
no rating for it right now, but just know you're doing a good job, man.
yeah, and I'm very pleased because I remember when we did the X-Men thing, we talked about this coming out, and I was skeptical when X-Men 97 was coming out, and when I finished X-Men 97, I was like, I'm actually very optimistic about what they're gonna do with Spider-Man because if you knocked it out the park with X-Men, why would you flop with Spider-Man?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I had no idea, what they were gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
Just I'm just excited to see another version of this. I would have been cool with them continuing the Spider-Man 94, whatever 96, whatever it is, too. But if shit, they went another direction and they killing, they crushing it. So I ain't got nothing to say.
Yeah, and it's like I can't even sit here and say I have a favorite character in the show because I feel like every character is just equally as good. Like Spider-Man obviously stands out because he's Spider-Man, but every character is equally as good and is interesting and like there's enough mystery behind him because like yeah, you might know who this person is and who he's gonna become, but you got to still take the ride of how it's gonna happen. Like we know
I
Norman Osborn is
compare
eventually gonna do something dirty, but like I'm cool with him being this good guy, fake Tony Stark for now.
I appreciate them dropping bad guys, but not dropping bad guys and then or like developing them as they are, but then giving us like a staple bad guy in his early, you know what I mean, development, which is Scorpion. Like, so we got like the names of like, you know, Tombstone and Doc Ock and stuff, and we even see Doc Ock with the arms and stuff like that, but not attached and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like we see them in their early development. I think that's where my favorite thing about Spider Man is always gonna be his villains. Like,
Yeah,
besides
him and Batman are the two best villain galleries in the game.
right, yeah, yeah. So I think I like right now I can say Doc Ock is always my top villain for Spider Man. Him and Goblin,
Mm-hmm.
but I could say right now though I'm more interested in seeing how this Tombstone
Comes to
character
be,
develops.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm really interested in seeing how that's going to develop because because as you said earlier, it's like they're giving us Peter, and then the other half of it, like every episode, you're getting Lonnie. So it's like
And
I'm
other
invested in both stories.
and in other iterations of Tombstone, like later in his life, he's not just some small gangster like Don is, bro. Like just a dude running a block. Like this dude is like either working for Kingpin or Kingpin rivaling levels when he's Tombstone later on in life. Wearing suits and shit. Like he ain't on lackeys like whatever his homeboy's name is with the big yellow puffer jacket. Like them niggas either gotta step up or they not gonna be around when Lonnie really becomes Tombstone, like the way he normally
Right.
is. If they go that route with him unless they want to keep him like some street level gangster like that. But either way, I think it's gonna be a fun ride to see where
You
they
talking
go.
about you talking about Bulldozer.
Yeah, yeah, Doze. That's what he was calling him, right? Doze and shit like that. Um, but one of the things I am concerned with is like because they already confirmed this show for season 3. I think that's the show that I seen was already confirmed for season 3. We didn't even get a 2 yet. But like back in the day when they used to be able to do like reoccurring characters like Spider-Man in the 90s, you would see Scorpion all the time, Shocker would pop up all the time, Vulture pop up all the time, Octavius would pop up all the time. I'm wondering how that works with this like fast food, interested today, not interested tomorrow way that people think and stuff like that. Would reoccurring bad guys really work for the long term of the Spider-Man show? And do they even try to stretch this out to like 6, 7 seasons? Or do they just do like 3, 4 and call it a day?
I mean, then it becomes like a thing like where the '90s. Remember, I think we had this discussion
We
before,
had better
like the
attention spans and shit like that back then, bro. Because I even notice it now. I'm like, my attention span is shit, bro. I can't even watch a 5 second video, a 5 minute video if I'm not interested in the topic, bro. Like that. That should be
right. But
feeling
remember
long.
though, and we had that conversation. We had part of this conversation before with like the '90s Spider-Man. Them niggas did so much that they started repeating episodes. Like it
Yeah,
was
yeah.
nothing. No, like they showed so much in like the first couple seasons, like so many bad guys and so many stories. It was like after a while. They did like reminiscent episodes where the nigga was going to see cancer patient, you know what I'm saying, and
Mm-hmm.
then telling them about shit they did. So I think no, I don't think it makes sense to do repeating
Yeah, because I was like, I
reoccurring.
feel like that kind of stuff just would not hit in today's
But I
world.
think that full how they doing it though, because just again in comparison to the '90s where you just got these bad guys and maybe they developed the story in one episode and then give you the finale in another. And some episodes is even like 3, 4, stories all combined, but they're giving us the development of these characters, you know what I mean, right now. So it's lasting the whole season. Like it's about to be the end of season 1, and we're hoping to see some type of mental development of like the real Tombstone. So I could like if they take their time with the bad guys and develop them in similar ways, because we can't, you know what I
Because
mean.
the old show wasn't doing that. They just had bad guys. They weren't really developing the bad guys.
That's what I mean. Yeah, yeah. So this way, I feel like if the way they're doing it, we won't even see reoccurring bad guys
Yeah, because
because
we're watching so much of their backstory that when they're really bad guys, it's like all we really need to see. And obviously, like they're gonna end at some point, and it's like the Spider-Man's life goes on. And like, yeah, you can paint the picture that they break out of jail and stuff like that, but we just don't need to see multiple fights.
you don't need
Like
to see
how I'm
that.
seeing Scorpion right now, like if I see Scorpion again, it's got to be because one of these niggas bust them out and they're doing like the Sinister Six. And when Spider-Man beats the Sinister Six, they're in jail. Like you can kind of end the show there, bro. Like or move on to the next thing. Green Goblin's gonna be a bad guy after that. Like that's fine. but you can't be like, oh, he beat Green Goblin, and then like after he beat Craven, and then the Vulture again, and then Green Goblin just popped back up because he's on a new plan. Like I don't think they can drag the show out long enough to make that worthwhile.
Yeah. I feel like Scorpion, this is my prediction. I feel like Scorpion is gonna get defeated by the end of the season. And with that being that, how they're doing the show, like I don't think he's gonna bust out of jail. He's gonna be in jail, and then that's gonna leave space for another villain,
Yeah,
Tombstone, Doc Ock,
and as
somebody
that
else,
goes, you're building his rogue gallery, and like I said, Sinister
Right,
Six,
yeah,
Kingpin will eventually pop. We already seen Daredevil, so Kingpin got to pop up.
right. See, but some is
Ooh, there was a voice actor I didn't see on that list. Big E. He's a wrestler. He's a wrestler, former wrestler, because he has a broken neck. He's not really cleared to wrestle, but he might be eventually. But he's a voice actor in this show, and they haven't shown it. Like when you scroll through that, I did not see Big E on that list. Is he Kingpin? Is he Is he about to be Kingpin? Are they gonna make him black in this, like they did in the Daredevil movie back in the day? Remember the Ben Affleck Daredevil movie? He was black.
He was black, yeah.
Yeah, so
No
I'm
Big
down
E
with Big
right
E
now.
being Kingpin. Like, I'm so down with Big E being Kingpin, bro. Honestly, if that's what they're gonna do with him. So like, there is place to stretch this show out, but they just got to handle it well. And the way that they're going so far with these first 8 episodes, I am very optimistic for what they're gonna give us.
Right. Yeah. That was Amadeus' show.
Yeah. I knew that one for sure. Let me see if I can find the other ones' names.
Gene, I know I got him right here. Gene Folcott,
And then who's this
uh,
knockoff Shuri chick?
Asha. I said that too. I thought she was gonna say my name is Shuri.
She's
She
from
said my name
Wakanda
is
too.
Asha. I know, yeah. Yeah, they got a few characters in here, man. It's just funny how the characters reflect the actors. Even the sub characters they play, they still look like.
Would she? Like I just looked her up. I'm assuming she would have powers that are similar to Invisible Woman, but not necessarily the same power. Because she
Cool.
ref- because in Marvel Cinematic Universe wiki, it has Asha has the ability to reflect or absorb light. So I'm like, would that make her be able to like blind people or make herself hard to see, like invisible? Because normally that's what you're doing with that, right? Reflecting light, making it so people can't see you and shit like that.
That and isn't that what
Like with
Miss
Invisible Woman, what she does is more because she can like use her psionic thing to make her invisible, make other people invisible, like throw like psionic waves at people and stuff like that. She could do more with that.
ain't the light thing with the or the spectrum thing? Ain't that what Miss Marvel do? One of the Marvels do? The Black Marvel do?
Photon?
That's her name. That's her name.
Yeah,
That's
but
the name they.
I feel like that's more photon particles.
Oh, I never knew that was her name. Interesting.
She Monica Rambeau in the MCU. Monica
Yeah.
Rambeau, MCU hero. Yeah, photon. So she
Oh,
goes by
okay.
photon. And she would use like photon particles. I'm assuming, right? I think that's what's the
Yeah,
name,
I guess.
right?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I know she was describing them as like light particles, but yeah, photon bar. Okay, cool.
Which is part
Sounds
of
cool.
light, I think, right? That's like a component of light is photons and stuff like that.
I'm pretty, I think so.
Which is not something weird because there are a lot of powers that are very similar and shit like that. So
Right.
yeah, well, apparently Photon, this character has also been known as Captain Marvel, Pulsar, and Spectrum. So she has been known as she has gone by multiple different names in the comics and all that. And I actually started reading some of the comics recently. I'm reading the story of Reed Richards becoming a bad guy, the Maker, and I'm actually really intrigued in it right now. But
You mean online?
I actually got an app. It's Marvel Unlimited, and you gotta pay like $10 a month, but you have like access to like all their catalog, bro. Like everything from like the '60s to now and shit like that. So like when I'm reading comics, I'm gonna subscribe to that, and then like when I know when I see I'm like falling off for like 2 months, I'm gonna cancel the subscription until I'm back into the wave. But for now, I'm reading Reed Richards' story of descending into a bad guy in the Ultimates universe.
Interesting,
Yeah, it's
interesting.
Earth 1610. I think they start off in, and like he kind of just starts jumping around because he kind of like just bugs the fuck out and leaves his universe and shit like that.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah, they were dealing with the Marvel zombies and all that stuff already. Like this is pretty dope, and they be covering a lot of ground in like 20 pages, bro. I'll be like, whoa, I feel like I got mad story mad quick. Yeah, especially because the movie comes out soon, so like I wanted to get, like just read up on some Reed Richards, see somewhere where some of the ideas that they could go with him is and stuff like that. I don't know, but I feel like that
Well,
sums it
yeah,
up for us,
that's
right?
it. That's it, man. We ain't got nothing
Yes,
else to do.
you're a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, man. If you're a Spider-Man fan, which like myself, that's my favorite superhero. So this was very enlightening. I mean, not enlightening, but it was very pleasing to see a good Spider-Man content coming out from these guys. Especially because Marvel and Disney are so up and down with their products lately that like something's good and then like the next two things are getting shit on and then like the next thing's good and the next three things are getting shit on. So it's good to see that Spider-Man worked for them, or at least it's working for me. So I can't speak for everybody, but it's working for me.
Hopefully, hopefully it's work because it's really something I want to see continue.
I'll tell
So
you one thing. Outside of the voice actor for Spider-Man getting the heat on his back, that's the only negative I've heard about the show so far. I don't really see anything about this show, honestly. Nobody's really talking about it because I don't think a lot of people are really checking for your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. But maybe if you catch this, it inspires you to go take a look at it because if you like Spider-Man, you're probably gonna enjoy this.
yeah, yeah. You know what? It feels like it's for the adults. Like this is for the
I
people who
wouldn't
love
necessarily
comics.
say that. It's kind of like how
Yeah,
Pokemon is now doing a new series with new characters. It's just the new day for new kids and stuff like that. Like, yeah, us adults are gonna enjoy that shit. Like the people who grew up with '90s Spider-Man and stuff like that. Like, we're gonna enjoy this. But the kids have their own Spider-Man to attach to now. Like whatever Earth 6222 or this is, whatever it is.
yeah.
So like, cause I'm like, if you tell me kids don't like this, your kids must be like true gangsters or some shit. That this is too cool. That they too cool for Spider Man and shit, right? Like they some true gangsters, man. They 8 years old smoking bogeys by the box a day. It's like
Like, fuck you,
they
mom.
that baby from the Dave Chappelle skit when he was like, "Yo, I looked out on the corner and the baby was selling weed," and I was like, "Baby, go in the house. I got kids to feed, nigga." Like, what? Like that's them kids. If you don't like this Spider Man, your kid is one of them kids, bro. Like, and that's not really to say that every kid has to like this because not every kid's gonna like Spider Man, but. Like, if your kid is into Spider Man at all and he ain't liking this, your kid a gangster, bro. He too cool for this shit, bro. Like, you might need to take a look at your kid's phone and make sure he ain't like setting up licks on people and shit while he at school. Like,
You been watching porn. You better watch
he might be a
that.
Spider Man villain and you just don't know it. Like, you raising Lonnie Lincoln and you just don't know it, bro. Like,
Niggas is snitching. Yeah,
yeah, but that's Spider Man. So we'll hit you with the Spider Man. Spider Man does whatever a spider can. Look out, there goes your Spider Man. And we out of here.
Peace out, y'all.